What's good, John? I'm over here smashing me a mandarin orange just in time for the illegals. What's good, Derek? What's going on, man? I said we got black light in this thing and hurricane. Well, they commented earlier. He said black light said they out of pocket, which they are. Hurricane said fluid out, love that phrase. But hey, man. Yeah, what's good, Hurricane? Yeah, man, let's go and get into this thing, man. The first video that's up on the docket, man, we got your boy Cash Jordan. Cash Jordan's been coming through with the good videos. Like, let me go cut this bullshit ass music off. But yeah, he been coming through with some pretty good videos. I had to go and subscribe to that guy. He comes through with some interesting videos. Even though I don't live in New York, I like that he kind of keeps up. He keeps you, he keeps you in the know on what's going on with New York, like, whether it's the migrant crisis or just like some of the silly things like New York has going on. He was saying that New York has gotten to a point where they're like, hey, man, we're going to start charging you $23 a day to keep a car in New York, which sounds like I don't want to live in New York. But, yeah, let's go and get into this first video right here, man. And it says, it begins. NYC starts flying migrants out of town. So, like I said, man, the title didn't lie, man. The migrants are getting flued out in these streets, bro. They're getting flued out, and this is unacceptable. Let's see why.
As its shelter system is about to overflow, the city is now offering migrants a free one-way ticket to anywhere in the world, as long as it takes them out of New York.
And this is where people...
So, not go back home, but just anywhere. You can go anywhere. So, you say, because I'm pretty sure a lot of them didn't want to they probably didn't initially want to come to New York. They probably was like, man, I want to go to California, or I don't know. Maybe someone want to go. I want to go to Atlanta, Buford Highway. Or I don't know, maybe they want to go to Florida because the tropical climate. So now you're letting them just fly out anywhere, like wherever they want to go. We're gonna fly you, all expense paid. Not fair, but let's get it.
People can get those tickets.
Now, this comes as the city says it's also considering distributing tents to newly arriving migrants and creating tent encampments in city parks.
We're going to have to find large spaces.
More than 130,000 asylum seekers have arrived to the nation's largest city since last year.
All options are on the table, and it's not a question of if, it's a question of when.
When we reach that point, we need to...
So are they offering this for like the African migrants and like the Caribbean illegals too, or are this is only for the Venezuelans? That's interesting. Well, I pretty much already know the answer. I'm just kind of in awe that they're being so blatantly unfair. But let's get it.
Manage it that is not a citywide visual state of chaos.
Free plane tickets. It might sound insane, but once you find out why the city's doing it, it might make a lot more sense. Will everyone agree with it? Probably not. More than 130,000 people have come to New York seeking asylum, and that's just within the last year. The city's at a breaking point and no longer has the resources to care for new arrivals. Now, plane tickets are quite expensive, especially international ones, but it's probably cheaper than the $12 billion projected cost of this crisis over the next few years. And this comes at a time when the city's own shelters are being shut down for fire code violations.
Breaking news now, another shelter for asylum seekers has been shut down over safety concerns. This one is in Midtown. The mayor's office tells us about 130 men were moved out earlier today due to an inadequate fire alarm system.
So shelters are being shut down all over town, and that's because the city is using any building it can find as emergency housing, whether or not it's even up to the city's own fire code. And this means that...
So that's interesting. So when y'all remember when they first was like, hey, we got 100,000 Venezuelans, goddamn 500,000 Venezuelans coming on up to the border and all that kind of stuff. Do y'all remember like any of the politicians like, yeah, we want like do y'all remember the politicians like sitting for them, or do you guys just remember them just like, I'm going to go to the United States. I want to go to your country. I remember them just kind of just packing up and just like being like, I want to go to your country. I don't remember anybody like, yeah, we want the Venezuelans to come on in, and then we're gonna get them right. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm just missing some things, but I feel like the Venezuelans just packed up and they was like, yeah, we're going. So I would say this is definitely a both fault. Like I at first I was asking everybody like, did you guys think we should be more angry at the government or the migrants? And Hurricane was saying we should be mad at both. And at first I was just kind of thinking it was the government, but now I'm thinking, yes, it's both parties are at fault, because the migrants just thought they'd just pick up and go wherever the hell they want to go, They passed through 5 different countries just to get here and ruin up the economy. And then the government for taking them in and having these dumbass rules. Yeah, you can just come over to the country. Yeah, just come on over and we'll move you into a black neighborhood and yeah, they're not doing shit with anything anyway. So you can move on in there and maybe you guys can work some of those menial jobs that the blacks don't want to work that not only make you look stupid but you can't afford anything with the job. Yeah, so it's a little bit of both of them guys. Not a little bit. It's all of both of them at fault. Let's check out these comments. Derek said, nobody cares about the immigrant costing us $12 billion from New York alone. Right. Victor Carlson says, total disaster. Facts. If they let this slide, then anybody could just come over. Exactly. I just don't get it. I don't get the logic behind it. But let's go.
The city has less shelter space than it thought it had. And now that the city's completely out of room, the only thing left to do is offer people free flights. Or something much worse than a free flight, which we'll get to. And you see this handwritten set of instructions? This is what the city is giving to people who've lost their bed in a shelter or who are waiting for shelter placement. A few days ago, the city started removing people from the shelters after they've been there for 30 days. And in another couple of weeks, families who've been there for 60 days with kids, they're going to be moved out too, which is really sad. But New York's right to shelter rules prevent the city from denying housing to people who get removed from the shelters, which means everyone is eligible to reapply. But first, try to convince them to accept a free plane ticket. But if you won't accept a plane ticket, you might have to accept a tent instead.
So it's either Blizzard or take that plane ticket. You better goddamn take that plane ticket back to Mexico or Florida, one of them. I don't know. I guess you can't go to Florida because DeSantis, I forgot. But I don't know. Let's get it.
The former St. Brigid School. And this former academy is actually the city's key to handling the asylum crisis in a way that some people feel is very controversial.
According to the Wall Street Journal, New York City officials have discussed the idea of giving newly arrived migrants tents, literally giving them some form of protection rather than sleeping on the streets of New York.
So it seems like tents could be given to newly arrived asylum seekers and those who've lost their place in a shelter at this facility. Now, this might look like a big building, but it is not a shelter. The city is calling it a re-ticketing facility. And that's because the shelter system in New York is now effectively a revolving door type operation. It is so full that in order for somebody to come here and get themselves a bed, they've got to wait for another bed to clear up. And that can only happen because people are evicted after 30/60 day stays. And this re-ticketing center is now conveniently the location where people reapply for placement in one of the shelters. And by having people reapply for housing at the exact same location where the free plane tickets are being given out, the city's hope is that people accept the tickets and don't actually need to get replaced.
Now, this is so dumb. So these folks just came up here with no plan. And then Joe Biden there was just like, yeah, come on in. We don't have a plan, but anything to mess up the economy for everybody, especially the blacks. Come on, man. These guys are pure idiots, man. It's like they talk about low IQ all the time, with us as black people, but every day in politics, you see low IQ. You see people that pretty much are they're legacy hires or affirmative action hires in a way. Like you don't really see no black people in there that's making all these bonehead decisions and stuff that's costing the economy. Well, I mean, besides I guess the fall guys like Brandon Jackson and Eric Adams, and I guess a couple other 2-3 bussy Democrat black people, but for the most part, you see most of the politicians that are that are incompetent are white. So I mean, let's get it.
In the shelter. The tickets are voluntary, and if somebody does want to stay in the shelter, they can still do that.
This initiative comes as Mayor Eric Adams describes the migrant influx as a crisis. More than 130,000 asylum seekers have arrived in the nation's largest city since last year.
Now, the city's critics are going to say that the reason this is happening and people are being given free plane tickets is because nobody here knows what they're doing. The mayor and the governor have just everything up. That's what critics are going to say. But on the other hand, New York City law says that the city has to give a bed to anybody who wants it on a temporary basis. The mayor and the governor aren't responsible for making the law, but they are responsible for obeying it. And supporters of how the city's handling this crisis think that it's actually a very shrewd move to offer tickets and reapplications in the exact same facility. The city's own data show that 50% of asylum seekers who leave the shelter do not come back asking to be replaced in the shelter system. And the city thinks its re-ticketing program will be most successful if everybody who reapplies gets offered a ticket at the same time. Also, the journey to New York for a lot of the folks that are here is a long, tough journey, and they come from very sad situations total economic poverty. People are here and they don't have the means to leave. So I think a free...
Bro, nobody cares, bro. Just get that ticket and get the hell up out of here, bro. Where does this guy live at? That's what I want to know. Does he live on the outskirts, or is he living in the middle of New York dealing with this same stuff? I don't know what the. It's always one of these guys that don't really have to deal with anything. That's saying all this. Yeah, well, let him. It's sad. Let him have it. It's sad.
Ticket is a great idea, especially if somebody's here now and they realize that they might be better off somewhere else. And it's not a good idea for the city to spend money housing people who wish that they weren't here in New York in the first place. Right. And it's frightening to think about what's going to happen to people who are given a tent and told to wait on the street while a bed opens up. And as soon as this policy was announced, people started wondering, are we going to see tents all over the place in New York City? Some people think we might.
The city is considering handing out tents to newly arriving migrants so they can create encampments in parks.
So they're not only gonna be giving these people money. I'm pretty sure they're gonna let them have like whatever the version of food stamps is in New York, and all that little extra WIC and all that government assistance too. So that's gonna really add a lot of onto the tax burden for the everyday American, I would say. Let's get it.
And other outdoor spaces.
And that's why we're here over in this massive park by the East River. There's a lot of open space here, and it could be that if the city decides to create encampments of some kind, they could wind up in a place like this. This here is the FDR Drive, and the park area is east of it. That's the river out there. There's a lot of construction over here right now, but there are a lot of things that make this park particularly well suited to some sort of base camp. There's actually like a running track over here under the trees. I've seen people doing barbecue and stuff over here on the 4th of July. Water fountains aren't disabled. Running water, that's huge. And there's actually a bathroom facility over here already. And because of the highway, access over here is fairly limited. This could be made into a secure area and sequestered off. This park is several miles long. It winds its way down Manhattan's east side all the way to the southern tip. There's even this running track. Over here, there's another big open area. It looks like a baseball diamond on the other side of that fence. Here we have the East River. That's Williamsburg, Brooklyn over there. Then Long Island City up this.
So they're going to have tents all up and down this little walkway right here. Migrants just ruining the area. Sounds stupid to me. You can't even go to the track no more because the migrants is over at the track. Imagine that's your neighborhood and that's where you go run on the track. That's how you get your workout in. But the migrants are there now.
Direction. Definitely a nice park, but this is a city-owned park. Now, critics are pretty adamant that taking a public park like this and using it for a specific purpose that denies the entire population the ability to use it as it was originally built is a bad idea. Right. But since there's no more room in the shelters, the city has zero options. And if the city doesn't take areas like this and make them safe spaces for people to have a tent, they don't set up some sort of safe encampment, those people are going to be on their own on the streets. And I think that would be even worse. And in order to abide by the city's right to shelter mandate, which comes from a court decision back in the 80s, they have to use the resources that are available to them in order to abide by the law.
What we're dealing with right now is a depletion of resources that is going to threaten our ability to provide the basic services to New Yorkers. And I can't allow that to happen.
Mayor's got a good...
You should have been thought of that before you even had them boys pull down on y'all, man. That makes no sense. So we see what they're about to do with the migrants. They're here saying you're gonna use a tent in a public space like a park and a track, or you get flued out to wherever you decide you want to go. You want to go to a nice place. Maybe you're a migrant with that's got some drug money. You can go to a Thailand or something. Maybe you're a migrant that's got you got some drug money. You can go to Florida. You can go to any of these other states in the U.S. and be established a little more. So we see what's going on with them. It's not fair. They talking about all this. Yeah, you have a right to shelter mandate and a right to get a bed mandate and all this kind of stuff. But let's see how they're doing the homeless people. Let's check that out next. It's crazy out here, man. It's crazy. Just the blatant disregard for everybody that they got. Let's see. So we got another video by your boy Cash Jordan. And it says New York City is building anti-homeless streets. Y'all see this bench right here, man. Imagine you down bad. You got to sleep on the bench, man. You going down. You got spikes in the bench. You got a little slump and hump in the bench. It's over with. Let's go.
What the heck are these things? And why are there 5 of them?
The goal was to prevent homeless from sleeping under this bridge. Instead, it backlashed with outrage from the town.
Armrests in the middle of benches to large rocks added underneath bridges. Homeless advocates call these designs hostile architecture or anti-homeless.
In London and Paris, you see spikes on windowsills. In D.C., a curved bench.
Hostile architecture is when cities put features in the architecture to try to keep homeless people away.
Spikes that would hurt people seemed like a bad idea.
So this looks like a metal covering for the subway vent, which is underneath it. At first,
So I'm not gonna lie. I think I could, like Forrest said, I probably could make that work. That little bench right there. I'm gonna get into my palette mode. I'm gonna put 3 different covers on top of it. So I'm gonna have a little cushion, and that way the spikes don't bother me as much. And then I'm gonna lay on there. You know, I'm gonna have to just be slumped a little bit. You know, how many of y'all think y'all can make it work in the comments? Let me know.
thought it was a bench, but you can really only sit on this corner of it. You'll notice that the top of this is incredibly uneven. And then there's these raised ridges, which are on all 5 of them. And what happens if you try to lay down on it? Is that even possible? Oh, that is like the most uncomfortable thing I've ever experienced. This ridge right here is going into my spine, and that's on purpose, and this is called hostile architecture. And critics of hostile architecture say that usually these types of installations
are cruel and unnecessary because they target the needy.
And we're going to look at a whole bunch of examples of this. Subway benches that serve no purpose, a train station designed to make you go crazy, and several parks that look nice, but were designed to be so uncomfortable that you'll leave after 5 or 10 minutes, and they're all here in New York. Now, hostile or defensive architecture consists of public installations like this, which are designed to do one thing while preventing another thing. This right here is a normal uncovered subway grate, and in the wintertime when it's cold out, someone with nowhere to go might want to use an area like this to help keep warm because warm air comes out of here. And right now, New York City is experiencing record homelessness. And lately, both private developers and the city have been building all sorts of things like this, but they've got to be really sneaky about it, because when I found out what these were, it made me pretty uncomfortable to realize that they were specifically designed to stop people who have nothing from staying warm in the wintertime. Is that okay? And sometimes when cities build stuff like this, people find out and get really upset. And that's what happened 2 years ago when the city started introducing hostile architecture to the subway system.
So do you guys think that it's it kind of shows they ain't really putting their priorities are a little off? They'd rather build hostile architecture and house illegal people that just decided to pack up and come here, versus just making some shelters up to code and getting some people somewhere to sleep and all that kind of stuff. And then they could do the same thing they did with the migrants, where you got 60 days to figure out a job, or we get a little more upright, and then you got to go on to the next. What do you guys think? I think their priorities are a little misplaced. What do you guys think?
This is the 23rd Street and 6th Avenue subway stop, and it looks like a normal subway station, but it was the site of heated controversy when the city subway, the MTA, introduced hostile architecture to this station. A couple years ago, riders noticed that the benches in this very same platform were suddenly removed. And as you can imagine, people were not happy about that, not only because of how cruel it might seem towards certain individuals, but also because the elderly, people who are pregnant, there's other people that need benches in the subway too, and this was a quality of life hit for everybody on this platform. And the benches were originally along this wall, and look at what the replacement is. Is this even a replacement? I mean, you can lean on it. I guess this is better than leaning yourself against the wall, which might be dirty. It has spots for 4 leaners. Now, there are 2 benches in this platform, which were put back after the city realized that their decision had outraged people. But even these have elements of hostile architecture in them. Look at these armrests. All you can do is sit here. You can't lay down. This is only like 2 feet wide. Its only purpose is for sitting. It is hostile to any other intended use. Look, you can't even be that wide in here. Some people even suggested the city had violated the Americans with Disabilities Act by removing the benches. And this isn't the first time the city had done something like this. Check this out. A year earlier, the city had removed all of the seat backs from the benches on a subway station just a couple blocks south of this one. The city claims that once they did that, they saw a reduction in the number of people loitering on the platform, along with an increase in the number of passengers who were on the platform waiting for trains. But by removing the seat backs from the benches that were already there, they essentially did exactly what this is by creating something that's less functional and lowers everyone's quality of use when they're in the subway. And I'm noticing that this is a trend because look at all the people standing with nowhere to sit. You see these concrete patches right here? There was something here. It was probably a bench. It looks to be about that wide. There's one other over here by the door, and there are no benches anywhere else. Just one more spot to lean right over there. And before we look at how the city is using the same type of designs at a brand new train station and a bunch of public parks, it's important to understand that this is exposing the dark side of this type of architecture, because there might be benefits as far as the orderliness of the subway system is concerned, but New York City gets pretty cold in the wintertime, and the subway is a place where needy New Yorkers go when they have nowhere else to go so that they don't freeze. And yes, the city has shelters, but they have a rather poor reputation, and because of New York's asylum crisis, the shelter system's already maxed out. And since the shelters are perceived as being dangerous, it makes tons of sense that people would rather take their chances in a place like this, and removing subway benches doesn't do anything to make people less.
I think I could make that work. So okay. The same thing. You got to have you a couple, 2, 3 covers. So you're gonna lay your butt right here, and you're gonna put your legs over there. That's gonna be the rest. And then you gotta elevate with the covers right here. That way you have more of a little bit of an even even lay right there as you lay down. You gotta put some covers there, and then you be straight. I think you gotta be ingenuitive out here in these streets.
Homeless. They're still homeless, even if you remove the benches, and they've still got nowhere to go. And most critics of these types of policies, they want to clean subway too, but they don't really think it's fair to take from people who already have so little. And the city's subsequent removal of benches here and reinstallation of different benches, that basically let the city know that if they're going to do stuff like this, they've got to be sneakier about it, and they have been, as we're about to see. Isn't that wild? This is a pretty impressive train station, but there are some serious problems with it that we'll get into. But first, it's important to understand that many aspects of this design and other hostile designs are nice. Nice to look at, not necessarily nice to use. But this is called the Moynihan Trail, and it is the newest train station in New York City. Building it cost over $1 billion, and it was completed just a couple of years ago. It also has this gorgeous glass ceiling, which is a throwback to Penn Station's original design. Penn Station is where Madison Square Garden is. That's directly across the street. And this is what that used to look like. And as far as train stations go, this is pretty nice. Look, there's a full Walgreens in here. There's an eatery with a bunch of restaurants. The ticketing areas, everything here is gorgeous. But there's one glaring flaw. And no, it's not that fixing the expensive glass roof is something that takes a while and is hard to do. Look at the size of that cherry picker they got right there. Do you see the problem? There's no seats. And that's why every single person in this billion-dollar terminal is standing.
They got me. They got me. Yeah, they got me good. I don't know. I think my dog was back in there running around. I think he might have ran into the little Wi-Fi thing. But let's go on continue. Let's go on continue, man. We're gonna do a little bit more of this one, and then be done with it.
Some seats down here at the bottom, so maybe there were more seats there than there are here in its reimagination. But you know, the old station is mostly open space, and what that could mean is that open space is a great Spartan design for a public train station in New York City. And you know, the way to answer that is to go across the street to the ugliest building in town, which is also a train station. Look at that. It's the same deal. 1 hour limit, and you got to have a ticket to get into the waiting area. And everyone else in this beautiful piece of New York City architecture is standing or walking. I love the 1970s aluminum ceiling. The floor reminds me of my elementary school. And look at this. These are those crazy old school drop tile ceilings. Now, this certainly isn't modern, new, or fancy by any stretch of the imagination, but it's eerily similar to what's across the street because all this open space with no seats, that's hostile architecture. At least the new monitors are bright, but this is another design where absolutely nothing about it is meant to be comfortable. Luckily, there are seats inside some of the little restaurants over here, which you'll be paying for. And look at this. The wall is even roped off for some reason. Maybe it's because they've got this fancy tile and this artwork on it, and they don't want people who have nowhere to sit leaning on it. But back in 2020, loitering in this station and in Grand Central caused economic issues for small businesses that are here paying rent. And in addition to building things in a way that is not conducive to comfort in any manner, the city stepped up security. But unfortunately, this is a 24-hour facility, and those most negatively impacted by hostile architectural design and policing were those who needed a place when it was cold out. But New York doesn't just limit hostile architecture to the inside of buildings. Now it's on the outside as well. And no, I'm not talking about how they roped off all the steps at the post office so no one can sit here. Back in the day, you could climb the steps. There are doors over here, but now look, they got it all roped off. It's just here looking pretty. Very pretty. I'm not talking about this. I'm talking about something way worse. This isn't really comfortable. I can't believe whoever designed this calls this a bench and got away with it. It's actually like a barrier if you think about it.
Man, you just gonna have to lay sprawled out. All four is gonna have to laying down. So you have to lay your torso is gonna obviously be on there. Your spine's gonna be on there. You're gonna have your legs on the ground, and you're gonna have your arms stretched out. So you're gonna basically get a pectoral stretch while you lay down. It's not gonna be a great sleep, but you know you can do something with it. You can do something with it, but let's go.
This is the Highline Park, and it's actually a park built upon an old railway track, which means many parts of it are skinny and narrow, but it's also very long. It goes like 15 blocks. There be some of the old train tracks right there underneath us, and I'm guessing that these barrier benches serve to move the flow of traffic down the park. And I guess they don't want big groups inside these little triangle areas. Oh, look, another awkward place to sit. I feel like I'm a little close to the traffic here. And this is what happens if you try to lay down on it. My shoulders and arms are falling off the side. What a bizarre way to construct something. There's no way you're going to sit on a bench like this for very long. Maybe just long enough to eat a sweet green salad. And look at this geometric nightmare right here. I bet people were getting hurt on this thing. That's why they had to rope it off. You can see that these two benches are basically here to tell this traffic to go this way and have this traffic come this way. Only someone with a college degree could have come up with this. I know because I have a degree. Now, in spite of how this entire section of the park is textbook hostile architecture, that changes in this area that opens up because over here we've got what seems to be an actual seat. This is definitely better than the awkward bench. And I'm pretty sure the designers of this park envisioned it as an urban pathway that leads north to south along Manhattan's west side, with some areas being akin to a nature walk and others doubling as observation points. Isn't that cool? You can look down here, see the street, take in the views. It's definitely a beautiful park. If you're ever around here, you should come out here and walk on it and sit on it. And from time to time, they will put in very bizarre art installations like this pink tree, which probably symbolizes something. Also of note, this is a private park and it does close at a certain point. So it's not like Central Park where you should expect to be able to go in and leave at any point you want. Check out these hostile bleachers. Maybe it's modern, maybe it's futuristic, but it's not exactly comfortable. And there's about as much legroom here as Spirit Airlines will give you. I don't think you could stay here for a very long period of time. And maybe that's the point. But what if a group of people went to a place that was filled with hostile architecture here in New York?
I could definitely make that one work. But a couple people said, I know Derek said, or somebody said, I think Derek said he might as well sleep on the floor. I agree, man. Why don't you just go on sleep on the floor? Forrest also said he sleep on the floor sometimes because it does wonders for his back. I've heard about that too. And you know what's weird? Like when you sleep on the floor, like sleeping on the floor, and then like when you finally get like a bed or something, you kind of realize the difference in like how it makes your back feel. It's weird, bro. It's really weird. It's like, I don't know. It's like, I don't know. And I think also it's kind of like, it's like you're adapting to it. Like I think first when you first sleep on the floor, your back is kind of be like kind of sucking a little bit. But then when you don't sleep on the floor for a little while, and then you get a bed, and then you kind of adapt to that, and the couch and all that kind of stuff. I don't know. Yeah, you could definitely hit the floor though, man. The floor is not the worst place. The floor is not the worst place. I done slept on the hardwood and everything, so I know. But the Hurricane said his mattress is almost as hard as the floor. Man, you must have one of them box spring guys, man. That's crazy work right there. But let's go and check out the next video, man. We could go. Let's see. I don't really want to. Let's look at the Dirty Pastor, Rashad Ritchie. Let's check him out, man. Dirty Pastor Rashad Ritchie. Let's check him out. See what he's talking about. Dirty Pastor, where he at, man? Okay. Yeah, man. We got your boy Dirty Pastor Rashad Ritchie, man, talking about Trump makes draconian plans for undocumented immigrants, man. And this is why. This to me, like this type of thinking amongst like Democratic people and like Black Democratic people is why you can't really vote. Like I don't know why it's why the Democrats are not really a safe bet for Black people at all. They've never been a safe bet for Black people, but they're definitely not safe now. They're too busy worried about everyone else except for Black people. It would be different if they were worried about everybody else and Black people, but they're not worried about Black people whatsoever. It's more so. What are these people? What's the gay man doing with his bussy at night? What's the transito gonna do about his surgery so he can join the military? What about this? What about that? What about the illegal migrants? It's all kind of everything but Black. So yeah, man, the Democratic Party's taking a big time L. Not sure what we're gonna do this upcoming election. I think a lot of people say they're not gonna vote. And then there are a lot of people saying they're gonna do a protest vote. I don't know which one I'm gonna do yet, but we'll see. I know I'm not voting for Democrat. Let's get it.
Donald Trump, well, he's telling you exactly what he's going to do if you give him power again. Put up his picture full mass. Understand that democracy leads by a round of applause from some group every time. That group in America is called MAGA. The New York Times reported Saturday that if Donald Trump wins back the president.
Hold on, who is that, Forrest? I gotta check that out, man. I'm about to go look for that while we play this.
See, he plans to quickly detain millions of undocumented immigrants in vast camps in Texas.
Huh.
He will try to end birthright citizenship, renew a version of his Muslim ban, and deny visas to foreigners whose politics and their ideology are adverse to his. Let's start with Mother Jones. The draconian measures are part of a blitz described by far-right Trump immigration advisor Stephen Miller as an effort to execute an array of problematic and, in some cases, clearly illegal steps to restrict legal immigration and deport millions before immigration rights lawyers and federal courts can catch up. Trump's anti-immigration plan is the latest detailed authoritarian blueprint to emerge from within the indicted former president's brain trust. Trump, if elected, also reportedly plans to immediately invoke the Insurrection Act to allow him to deploy the military against civil demonstrations. Isn't that ironic? End civil service protections so he can fire large swaths of federal workers, something he tried to do before, and use the Justice Department to prosecute critics and political.
I don't know. So that's one reason why I'm not too sure about Trump, because he enables a lot of racism as well. Like a lot of folks are like, man, we would get money under Trump. I mean, it wasn't like Trump was he was making it easy. Like, I don't know, I guess he wasn't like he was constantly giving us a stipend every week or something like that. He gave us he didn't. I guess the government gave us those checks. What's the stimulus checks? And then they hit us with the little 600 unemployment a week and all that kind of stuff. It's not like Trump was doing that. Folks be acting like, Trump will get no money. Trump will get us some money. He will get no money. He was not getting you money. He just did better under that. I don't know. I guess that would be Trump. I don't know. I guess because Biden just in general has the economy just down bad, just looking stupid. But y'all, what y'all think? Let me know. The whole allowing the military to deploy against civil demonstrations is definitely it's definitely hypocritical on his part. But let's go.
Political enemies. It may not be news that Trump wants to do such things, but the specificity and resolve with which his advisors are preparing to implement his wishes is a major departure from Trump's past attempts. Throughout his first term in office, Trump's malicious intentions were often thwarted by his administration's inexperience, incompetence, and advisors who tried to instill some presidential norms and prevent their boss from violating the law. Trump and his remaining loyalists, the Times notes,
Eric, you got a point,
believe they will face no such restraints in a second term. Where are we? We are at a crossroad. We are on the edge.
Man, bro. Whoever does this guy's mustache, his barber needs to be beaten to a pulp within an inch of his life. Look at this mustache. Look at this mustache right here. Are you getting girls with that mustache? Let me know right now. Anybody down in the comments, you got no choice but to rock that mustache for 2 weeks. Are you getting girls, or are you gonna be out here looking like a dirty pastor? Rashad Richie do look like he's the dirty pastor that he take money from the congregation. And he got a Rolls Royce and a goddamn a Maybach and all this, and you see he got the Beijing hairline. I wonder what his real hairline look like. He got the suit on. He got the dirty pastor outfit down to a T. But let's go.
We are on a slippery slope, a thin line, whatever you choose to call it. Donald Trump is laying out the blueprint. He's telling you exactly what he will do. Likely he would do this on day one if you give him power again. The man right now has no political power. He has no governmental power, but he still has political power and governmental power de facto.
Big trash.
He's been granted courtesy inside of courtrooms that no defendant has ever received. Literally, a judge told him just the other day that Trump can talk negative about him all he wants to. A judge has never said that. You have a criminal justice system not willing to do what is necessary to prosecute a criminal. Now, when I say that, I know we'll look at some of the indictments and we'll say, well, he has indictments. Yes, he has indictments.
All right, bro.
But he also has violated gag orders multiple times. His bond should have been revoked.
Bro.
He should be sitting inside of a place called 40 County Jail right now.
40 County Jail right now.
But he's not.
He's not.
What does he want to do? End birthright citizenship. We're going to go down the list
Let's
here.
end that now.
The 14th Amendment of the Constitution says anyone born on U.S. soil is guaranteed citizenship. Trump hopes to sidestep the law.
I think that's an absolutely stupid rule because I was looking on Instagram. There's like this trend of like what do they call it? Like what's it, like vacation birthing or something like that, where you know you're about to have a baby in a couple weeks or something like that. So you travel to the United States and then you had a baby there, and now your baby is a citizen of the United States and wherever the hell you from. That's stupid. Birthright citizenship is stupid. It's a way for people to make loopholes and get around shit. And I don't think just because you decide you want to pack up and go and cross the border illegally, now you got kids and stuff, that now you have kids and they just automatically get to be citizens. I think under a certain age, it's okay to send them back. I think after a while, like it's a little tougher because they've essentially got a life here. This is all they know. I mean, either way, it's all they know. But I mean, just birthright citizenship is idiotic. It's idiotic at the end of the day. But let's go.
By ordering federal agencies to stop issuing documents like Social Security cards and passports to any babies born to non-citizens. Though such a policy is unconstitutional on its face, Trump's entourage hopes to have it in place prior to an eventual Supreme Court ruling. Isn't that something? Let's talk about why birthright citizenship is codified inside of the U.S. Constitution. Without it, the powers that be said that Black people born in America were not citizens and could never be citizens because of the country, according to them, Black people came from. Meaning
That's so Lucid Studio says I was an immigrant, came to the US when I was 8. My dad raised me here and worked his ass off to get us through our difficulties. Also, he paid taxes even though he was told it made no difference. And I think so I guess in Lucid's case, it sounds like his dad did it the right way. Maybe his dad wasn't actually a citizen like for a while, because it takes a little while for you to take that test and not get your little green card and everything like that. But it sounds like his dad did it the right way. So so this is not about people who do it the right way. This is about people that do it the illegal way. And then now they want to have kids, or they just do the stupid thing where they travel to the United States out of nowhere. Now they got a citizen or something like that. I mean, it's silly to me. It's silly to me. But if you're a legal immigrant, ain't no problem with it. If your parents have been working, part of the workforce legally and all that kind of stuff, ain't nobody got no problem with it. We have a problem with all the people that are illegal that come here and they're pushing them into black neighborhoods. And then the thing is, with the illegals that come here before, like, I didn't care about all that until I start seeing how they're pushing black people out of their neighborhoods just for them to come into the neighborhood and replace it with illegals. That to me makes no sense. I don't I wouldn't like one of these little white dudes like they're taking our job, they're taking our jobs. They're taking our jobs. You're hiring these people, bro. Jethro, you're hiring these people to do your construction work, bro. You're hiring these people to cut your grass, bro. What are you talking about? And you're not doing any of these jobs. You don't have no issue with the jobs, bro. But let's get it.
Their lineage could not transform. Thus, they would have no stake to become citizens in the United States of America, regardless of where they were born. 14th Amendment said, wait a minute, that's not correct. U.S. Supreme Court interpreted that birthright citizenship is a thing, and we have thus codified it into law. And now Donald Trump says that very thing that allowed black people to be considered citizens in the United States of America will be challenged, overturned, or ignored.
Huh?
There's more. He wants to end DACA. Trump would renew.
Hold on. So that doesn't, I don't think that should apply to us, obviously. But this guy, let's get it.
His efforts to end a popular Obama-era program that shields from deportation any undocumented people brought to the U.S. as children. In 2020, the Supreme Court blocked Trump's first effort to ditch the program. But today's ultra-conservative court might rule differently. He wants to ban Muslims again. Trump hopes to reinstate his ban on travel to the U.S. from multiple Muslim-majority countries. President Joe Biden ended that policy on his first day in office, though Trump does not appear to plan to try to implement the sweep.
What do you guys think? Is the Muslim ban really going to do anything? I mean, I guess like due to the whole conflict over there in Palestine or Israel or whatever, I guess that's the only thing I could see it stopping something from happening. But I mean, other than that, it's like, what's really the point? What do y'all think?
Sweeping Muslim ban he called for while campaigning in 2016, he has said that is the goal of his policy. There's more. He wants to boot refugees. Remember, a refugee is a legal status in the United States. Trump intends to suspend America's refugee program. He plans to include possible deportation. Tens of thousands of Afghans who settled in the United States in 2021 after the Taliban took over because Trump held a secret meeting with them and provided the catalyst necessary. Many of them are former allies or supporters of the U.S. military who were allowed to enter the United States because of the likelihood they would be killed by the Taliban in reprisal. Under Trump's plan, they would be sent back and for surely put to death. There's more. Loyalty test for Israel. This is called your proxy test. Trump has said he would cancel the visas of foreign students who took part in protests against Israel. He also wants to expand ideological screening of visa applicants to block people his backers consider, quote, to have undesirable attitudes, end quote. Roundups to achieve mass deportation of undocumented immigrants, including otherwise law-abiding people who have lived in the U.S. for decades. Trump would order immigration and customs to carry out sweeping raids. Instead of merely arresting specific individuals, the agency would detain a large number of people in public places. Personnel from other federal law enforcement agencies, along with the National Guard troops and police from willing local jurisdictions, would be deputized by the federal government to help according.
I mean, they're saying all this, but I think, like Hurricane said, he's not going to be able to legally get all this done, and I don't think he's going to be able to get all this done. Period. Though he's not. Yeah, I don't really have no problem with the refugee ban whatsoever. I'm okay with it. Derek says it only said children of non-citizens will not be citizens. If your parents are citizens, then you're still guaranteed. Right. Yeah, it's interesting, AB. It's interesting. I'm seeing the eyes down there, man. It's interesting. Let's get it.
To Miller. Then comes the camps. Miller said the new Trump administration would build vast holding facilities, likely on open land in Texas near the border, for undocumented immigrants who would be detained there until they are deported. Send in troops. Trump also hopes to use the military to round up undocumented migrants. This is clearly illegal. There's an act that...
Why don't they just make the Border Patrol like on steroids and make the Border Patrol actually use force? Keep people out of there. What's the point of having a Border Patrol if you're not keeping people from entering the country? Isn't that what other countries do? They have Border Patrol, and if you're somebody that's not supposed to be entering the country, they might go on take you down. So I mean, I don't really see what the point of our Border Patrol is. All they do is just hey, you can't go here, and I guess they report to the government or something. Sometimes I guess they arrest people or something, but it's stupid. Let's go.
That bars the deployment of the U.S. armed forces for domestic law enforcement, but he's going to ignore that. Trump aims to get around that by invoking the Insurrection Act again, with the claim that illegal border crossings constitute anti-government rebellion. You see what he's doing here, right? He's the only person that animated an anti-government rebellion. We said you have to use the Insurrection Act against Donald Trump, his cronies, those that support it immediately. Utilize it by way of the system that it is applied. But no, they play games, and they still are. Declare a health emergency. Miller told the Times that Trump's Centers for Disease Control and Prevention would invoke a public health law that allows the administration to expel visa-less asylum seekers who arrive at the border without first considering their claims. The administration applied a similar strategy during COVID by means of an emergency rule known as Title 42. But without a pandemic, Miller said, the Trump team would simply claim that severe strains of the flu, scabies, tuberculosis, and other illnesses like RSV and so on, or just a general issue of mass migration being a public health threat that will constitute the emergency. And let's not forget about the children, kids in cages. Trump's draconian plans do not explicitly include a renewal of the family separation policy spearheaded by Miller and others, where more than 5,000 children from infants to teens, including U.S.-born, were forcibly taken from the parents and even held in cages. To this day, many still haven't been reunited, despite court ruling, barring the policy.
We've had enough of this guy here. Enough of old bussy dirty pastor, man. Let's check out what them guys talking about in Chicago, man. Chicago is where it goes down. It's a little more interesting over there, and I got family there, so I got a little bit more stake in it, man. But let's check it out, man. What are the Black Chicago residents talking about, man? Check this screen out, man. You see the lady on the screen, man. She just flashes. She's like, that hair is going crazy, man. Just like the barber who did the dirty pastor's mustache. Whoever did your weave shouted, oh my Lord. What happened to Virgil? Look at that. What happened? What's going on right here, man? Just wear your hair. Just wear your regular hair. But let's go.
Peace, family. My name is Vicki Dillard for African Diaspora News Channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. Be sure to give us a big thumbs up, and share the broadcast. Thank you so very much. Family, here in the United States of America.
All right, so all my young single men, or just my single man, period. This lady, she seen you at the gym or something, or at the grocery store. She would get she getting some weird groceries or something like that. She only shops in the organic section. And she getting some weird girl. She saw it, she like, you a handsome young man. And then, y'all start talking. She like, won't you come over to the house and let me take care of you like an old woman should? Show you what an old woman can do. Are you coming over? Or are you avoiding that? Because this lady's looking mighty weird. She's looking mighty weird. She got the long nails with the extra stuff on it. The weave that's looking like she just crawled out of a cave. She got that, I don't know what she got going on, man. It's offset. But let's go.
We foundational Black Americans, after gaining civil rights and rights in the 1960s, during that same decade, we were the impetus behind ensuring a very serious and substantive immigration law that was due in large part because of us and the momentum that we gave it. Well, we have come to know how the United States of America have unfortunately weaponized both legal and illegal immigrants against us. We have seen how they've tried to make allies, both the Democrats and Republicans, with different people groups, giving them substance, tangibles, and refusing to give us, we who created and built and founded the United States of America, 1 red cent. So they have doubled down on what they are willing to do for, in particular, illegal migrants. And while there are tens of thousands, for example, in Chicago, of Black homeless folk, many of whom are veterans, served in America's wars, they are ensuring that people that broke the law are prioritized over those of us that founded the United States of America, built the United States of America, and served in her wars, especially during times of oppression. We've served in every single war, everyone, both sides. So it's very disconcerting when we show up to political hearings, or council persons, assembly persons, and the like policymakers and so forth are present, and we have to give them what I call this everlasting work. Such is the case with this particular Black Chicagoan. Watch this.
For a long time to be a freedom fighter, to always be on the right side of people. But one thing I have realized, that Jim Crow has messed up so bad, that we want funding and campaign donations, and once we get into office, we somehow forget where we come from. And I'm not talking about you. Look at our other elected officials, how they allow MMS to get abused and city council.
No, you are talking about him. He just sat up there and gave y'all a slideshow and a timeline of what happened to the Venezuelans and all that kind of stuff, and why they're up here and why they deserve to take your spot in America. So yeah, it is about him. Well, let's go.
And as I came in here, I wasn't going to say anything. But when I walked in here and I see the city of Chicago ticketing all of the legal people in here to voice their concern about the illegal people. That's not right. No. The city of Chicago, when I walked in, the blue people and the ticket people out there writing up all the Black people.
Yeah,
so what I'm saying is,
we pay for all the parts.
Well, 50%. This is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying, dear brother. I'm sick of it. And I'm sick of these Uncle-time Negro elected officials that the only thing they think of CTU and the rest of these unions will keep them in office. I'm the first person that stopped the bus of the illegal migrants in Wadsworth, and I won't be the last. So what I'm saying, dear brother, look, I'm uncensored. I have not took a grant, no dollar, so they can't control me. I'm a free Black man. So what I'm saying to you is, what are we going to do about reparations?
Okay, family, did you hear what she said? They made it clear that they will turn Chicago red, which is Republican, to prove a point to the Democrat Party if they continue to prioritize others over us. If they continue to ensure that others have tangibles, economic resources, and so forth over us. Let me tell you something. We're the kindest, most loving people on the planet. But you have to wake up and smell the begonias and realize when you're getting played. Talk black to me, somebody. And what's interesting is that the Democrat Party really treats us as slaves. They feel that when we tell them to focus on reparations, that they can do any and everything.
Y'all know what I feel like the Democratic Party looks at us like? You know how like you might have that one girl, like you've been messing with her for a little while, but she don't really never claim her or nothing like that. And she keep on like, when are you gonna be my boyfriend? When are you gonna show me out to your family? Why don't I ever get to see your friends? And all that kind of stuff. It's like that. You're like, so it's like you're the Democrats, and then like the girl is like the Black people. And then it's like once she start kind of like moving on and she finding a new dude, now you get mad. That's what the Democrats are like. They're kind of like, it's like they're mad at us, but they've been neglecting us this whole time. It's like, what do you really want us to do?
That they want to do. They feel comfortable ignoring us and treating our requests as trivial. When I think about oppressed people like ourselves, the longest Holocaust has ever existed, the Black Holocaust. When I think about what we have endured and continue to endure, and when I see how comfortable they are with us, keep our constant waiting, our patience, they weaponize even our patience against us. And I often say this. Who are we to be patient? Did you hear what I said? I often say this. Who are we to be patient? After hundreds of years, after receiving the worst treatment of any human being on the planet for longer than anybody else, talk black to me, somebody without respect.
Yeah, I agree. It's you know, it's gotten to a boiling point now. where they've been doing the same song and dance for all this time. Like y'all remember the last stream we did where Muhammad Ali was essentially saying the same thing that people are saying on the internet now. They've been spouting the same numbers, the same rhetoric about black people this whole time, and nothing has changed. And that was when our grandparents was alive. They was young then. But let's go.
Receiving any form of reparations, and America has neither ceased nor desisted her oppression of us. They got a hell of a nerve to expect us to just keep waiting. And it is a sick mindset. And in fact, a psychological warfare to where we agree to prioritizing others' issues over our own. But it's a new day. And what's also interesting is that you see your Black Democratic shields that are part of mainstream media, legacy media, and a part of the establishment and its system in one way or another. They love to talk about how folks like us in the Black grassroots, you all need to get politically engaged and all this. They don't like the way we get politically engaged, baby. We're showing up. Chicagoans are suing the city. You see them voting, but they're threatening to turn the city, the state really, from blue to red. Talk back to me, somebody. No, you're not going to like the way we politically engage because you choose to do you don't want to do what's right. You want to maintain the status quo. And for those of us that want something substantive, that offends you. It offends you only because it offends your Democrat masters. Isn't that something? It only offends you because you know it offends the Democrats. And the reason you're disgusted by Black voices like ours is because we make no distinction between the Republican white supremacists and the Democrat one. We're willing to work whichever one gives Black folks the most substantive tangibles. We understand that this is about negotiation. So you're upset with us.
That's real right there. I see a lot of people on Twitter always talking about you're gonna vote for Republican? I mean, if they're giving reparations, why would we not? I don't get it. We're gonna keep on talking about bussy and rainbows to the Democrats and immigrants, illegals to be exact, and giving money to other countries we don't need to give money to. I mean, all the parties do that, but we're seeing a blatant disregard with Joe Biden.
Because we see you for who you are. And you want us to accept the superficial. You want us to accept the singing Amazing Grace at our churches and putting on robes and singing hymns. You want us to be happy that you came and clapped your hands and sat on the front row. You want us to be happy because you showed up to fish fries and barbecues. Those days are over. My name is Vicky Dillard. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Vicky Show right here on African Diaspora News Channel. Be sure.
All right, man. So the Vicky slander, man. So Vicky's not a bad looking lady, but her hair just we gotta something's gotta shake there. I'm sorry, something's gotta shake. That's all. Next, we'll check out this video here talking about what's it talking about? I guess we'll go ahead and check out what these people are saying. How did Chicago fail the Venezuelan migrants? But yeah, I don't think we're gonna agree. Let's check it out. You guys see that it's the same title I just said. Let's check it out.
After being abandoned in shelters and turned down for better paying employment, migrants are returning to Venezuela because Chicago has become such a miserable place. 2,700 migrants from Texas have landed in Chicago since August of last year. Governor Greg Abbott of the Lone Star State forwarded migrants to Chicago and other Democratic-run towns due to their well-deserved reputation as sanctuary cities. For undocumented migrants, they provide increased protection against detention or deportation. Due to Illinois' severe winters, dearth of infrastructure for migrants, and conflicting local support, many persons who braved the dangerous trek across the U.S.-Mexico border now actually turned around and returned home. Venezuelan native because his work permit was taking so long to come, 39-year-old Michael Castiglione and his family were forced to sleep on the floors of police stations and shelters. The family was receiving rental aid for up to 6 months through the city voucher program, which provides up to $15,000 for apartments. However, as the program's funds ran out, they were forced to give up their place of residence, even though the father found employment in construction and was paid in cash.
All right, man. I'm good on them guys. Let's check out this Felicia Franklin arrest, man. Let's check this guy out. Let's go on see it. So Forrest, it says what's this thing say right here? Police dispute commissioner's date grape. Let's see. Let me see if this is the right one. Yeah, so I guess they saying the police date grape this lady. But let's go.
Vice Chair of the Clayton County Board of Commissioners claims that she was drugged while she was out at a bar. Commissioner Felicia Franklin said that she believes somebody slipped what's commonly known as the date rape drug into her drink.
But police say there's no evidence proving that happened. News Edge reporter Christopher King is live at the Clayton County Commissioner's Building with the story.
Christine, Tom, Commissioner Felicia Franklin posted on Facebook she believes somebody drugged her. It's still up, but police showed us something different.
Okay.
Ma'am. Take a look at this video. Police say it shows the vice chair of the Clayton County Board of Commissioners on Friday, September 29th, apparently passed out on the ground.
So it was shocking.
Commissioner Felicia Franklin posted on her Facebook, quote, "It is believed by medical professionals that I was drugged with a GHB pill, more commonly known as the date rape pill."
All right. So I guess we're gonna find the eventual better video there. But this lady, she's already been going through a bunch of scandals and whatnot. So I don't know if we can really trust her. We're gonna see this. We're gonna turn something else on in the meantime. What's the title of the video? Because it's not gonna let me click on the link for us. What's the title of the video? So I can just look that guy up.
Man, this migrant situation, man. Let us know how you feel. Give us your opinion on it, man. This is a hot topic. Like I said, if you pay taxes and you live in the United States, this is going to affect you. You don't have to be in New York. You don't have to be in Chicago. It's going to affect you. Trust me.
Please go join Michonne Denise. Michonne Denise, she's doing the same thing. Michonne Denise is definitely a female that's on this right now. I was
talking about the
live.
migrant situation.
Yeah, talking about the migrant situation. I was on a live, and one of the migrants trying to disrespect her and saying, calling this lazy Americans, what are you here for?
Yeah.
Everybody that calls late America, what are you here in our country for? Then go back.
Yeah.
You understand?
That's right. Oh man.
How you doing today? You rocking out?
Oh man. Hey, this is looking crazy right here, man. This is looking crazy right here. Let me go and play this real quick, man. We're gonna liven it up just a little bit. Something different, man. This is crazy. Yeah. Let's get it.
Ma'am. You want to pick her up by the...
Lisa, look at me. Look at me.
Get him out the truck now.
County Commission.
Yes, you heard the police officer right. The woman you just saw having the mother of all episodes is Clayton County Commissioner Felicia Franklin. What appears to be a wild night out gone wrong, however, could turn out to be far more complicated once she's coherent enough to share her version of how everything went off the rails. But regardless of how she got to this point, the consequences Felicia will ultimately face will not be fun. Here's what police found when they first arrived at the scene on that fateful night, September 29th, 2023.
Hi. How are you?
You all right? Who served her?
We got an ambulance coming.
I want to come.
Because Felicia.
So AB, this is the Fulton County Commissioner down here in Georgia or in Atlanta, whatever. And I guess she's claiming that somebody roofied her drink or something like that. And I guess the police found her just laid out on the floor. I guess she's at South Lake Mall out there. But that's not Atlanta. That's out there in Morrow or something like that. But yeah, that's what they basically found her and all that. Now I guess she's screaming and saying that they got me, get them out that truck and all this kind of stuff. So we're gonna see what happens at the end.
Is mostly unresponsive. Emergency medical services are summoned to assess what's wrong.
This what happened when I reached you guys. So apparently she fell off the bench. We found her on the ground over here.
Yeah, sir. We want to make sure she didn't hear her head. Dr. Yeah. Tell me what's going on. You don't know? Okay. Who's in charge of this young lady? I'll take the phone. Okay. What's your name? My name?
What?
Unfortunately, the EMTs are unable to get a clear answer from Felicia about what happened that left her in this state. As a result, police and the EMTs agree that she needs a medical assessment and might even need to go to the hospital.
Did she refuse me a medicine?
Did somebody? I have not evaluated her. Okay, I don't want to get in. I'm not trying to get in your way. Okay. I apologize. I'll stand back. Okay, so we're going to go to the back of my truck. Okay, I'll apologize. And do a little bit more talking. I apologize. Okay, sweetie, what I want you to do is stand up and turn around. It'll be just like this. Okay, well, we'll pick you up and move you over there. Where you are, son? Sure.
What's up in there?
Georgia, 060-931-981. Come on, sweetie. Put your legs under you. Put your leg.
Finally, the EMTs are able to get Felicia onto the stretcher, but when they try to take her over to the ambulance, things really start to go wrong.
Don't leave me! Don't leave me! Don't leave me! Don't leave me! I'm a 5'11". Don't leave me! Don't leave me! Don't leave me! Don't leave me! Don't leave me!
As things start ramping up, Felicia's emergency contact arrives.
Let them get her inside. Let her evaluate her. She'll be able. As long as nothing.
I'm right here. I'm not going anywhere. What happened? She's spitting up. She's throwing up.
Hey, don't leave me!
I'm not going anywhere.
Patty, don't leave me! Patty, don't leave me! Don't leave me!
That's whiskey. You drink bourbon?
I don't know.
What have you been drinking tonight? Any bourbon?
I don't know. I just want Patty. Patty, come to me, Patty.
Instead of calming things down, the presence of Felicia's friend Patty actually appears to be agitating Felicia even more. However, nothing you've seen so far compares to what's about to happen once they get Felicia aboard the ambulance.
Bring me Patty, please. Please, Patty, please.
Y'all have to take her for public transport.
I can't get about this truck. He's a get about this truck. Bring me Patty, please.
Felicia, we're gonna check you out, baby. Listen to me. No. They're trying to help.
This is a nightmare. Get about this truck.
This she drunk.
No, don't.
Get him out this truck.
Felicia, don't do
Get
this.
him out this truck. Get him out this truck. Get him out this truck.
Okay, he's gone. He's gone. He's gone.
You need to stop.
Felicia.
You're going to make it worse than what it needs to be.
Felicia. No, she's not. He's not making it worse. We're all trying to help, baby. Felicia, honey, you fell down. You fell down. We want to make sure that.
No, you're not. No, you're not.
We gotta make sure you're okay.
No, you're not. No, you're not. No, you're not.
After a bit more screaming, the wind seems to go out of Felicia's sails. At least, perhaps exhaustion is catching up to her. Even on the verge of sleep, however, she still manages to behave defiantly.
Don't be like that. He's trying to help you out. Why are you going to do that to me? I've been trying to help you out too.
Yeah, that's drunk. I don't think she had no little pills or whatever. I think she just was straight drunk.
It's not very nice. Ma'am?
Okay.
And tell her what? You want me to tell Patty that? The lady that was just in here trying to calm you down and help you out? Oh, that's not very nice.
Okay.
By this point, it's clear that neither the officers, the EMTs, nor Felicia's friends are going to be able to get a straight answer as to what happened that left her in such a state. It seems they'll have no other choice but to take her to the hospital. But partway there, disaster strikes. ambulance. Felicia wakes back up, angrier than ever, and so is the lead EMT. When someone is heavily intoxicated, their mind isn't working well, and rational thinking goes right out the window. So attempting to effectively engage with them isn't reasonable.
You will sit still and you will shut up. At this point in time, I've had it. I've had it. We're at 0 right now. I've tried every avenue to help you, but you are not cooperating with me. You're going to sit here and you're going to be quiet, and we're going to take you to the hospital. Am I clear? Am I clear? I don't care who Patty is. You are my patient.
His last name is Mosley. Get him out
Yes, ma'am. My last name is Mosley. I work for the city of Morrow.
Get him out my face. Get him out my face.
The ambulance actually had to pull over on the way to the hospital because Felicia was getting too rowdy.
Big fatty, get him out my face. Hey, get him out my face. 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 You gotta get him out my face. I don't give a get him out my face. You better get him out my face. You better get him out my face.
Ma'am, you're about to.
So you're a whole county commissioner. You went and had a night on the town in Morrow of all places. There ain't nothing out there. You got drunk to the point where you was at the mall laid out. Come on, man.
Go to jail.
I don't give a get him out my face. You get him out my face.
So the choice is, do you want to go to the hospital or you want to go to jail?
You get him out my face. You did not handle this properly.
Be quiet. Get him out my face. Because jail won't take you this drunk.
I'm not that drunk. You can take me to the hospital. Get him out my face. 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 You call my father. You call anybody, but get him out my face. All right, we got you. Get him out my face. Get him out my face. Don't you move this truck until you get him out my face.
With Felicia restrained, the gang gets back on the road and, by some miracle, makes it to the emergency room. But Felicia isn't done yet, and even being in a medical setting doesn't persuade her to quiet down.
Oh.
Sweetie, you let him move up to the next phase of life.
Shut the up. I want my mother.
Sadly, Patty reveals that Felicia's mother passed away several years ago, and yet she continues to call for her at increasing volume.
You're right, I don't.
I don't understand. I just want my mother.
I can only imagine. Can you put that back for us?
Oh, I want my mommy. I want my mommy. I want my mommy.
Yeah, we got it.
She gave my life to this profession. I want my mommy. I want my mommy. I want my mommy. I want my mommy. Can you bring my mommy back?
No, ma'am, I can't. I don't have that ability. I can do a lot of things, but that ain't one of them.
Please, please, please.
That's not one of the things I can do, man.
Oh.
Let's go this way so you can get this side.
Brett, please bring her back. Brett, please. No, Brett, please. She's not too early, Brett. Please, she's not too early, Brett, please.
Even as the officer takes his leave, Felicia continues screaming in the background as the doctors attempt to treat her. For obvious reasons, no statement was recorded that night. Days later, investigators met back up with a more composed Felicia to ask her what on earth happened.
The biggest thing is that after being there and hearing the set, once they packed out, I noticed something was going on. Wasn't quite sure. So then after sitting there for a minute, I thought, I need to go ahead and leave. I don't have to leave right after the van. But then when I got up to walk out the door, literally, and I have 4 kids now, it's like my body just went out. It was not a head swimming. It was not anything like that. It was like my body stopped functioning. That's how it felt.
We see a verbal-nonverbal disconnect here. There's a massive delay in Felicia's hand motion after she says her body just went out, and this could be an indicator of deception. Apparently, Felicia had gone out to see live music and states that she had no more than 2 drinks, specifically a glass of wine and a single cocktail, which she didn't finish. However, thanks to security footage provided by the bar where the scene took place, police observe otherwise.
I just want to be very blunt with you.
Yeah, so she finished that whole thing. They said she got drunk. They said she got drunk. Maybe he said, right, yeah, she lying out here in these streets to cover up for her little career. Night and day behavior. Yeah, that's a scary lady. Do we really want her in power? I don't think we do. Let's go.
You can be blunt. You had 5 drinks.
I didn't drink 5 drinks.
I'll count it all 5 of them. Just want to let you know that.
I had 5 drinks.
Ma'am. Yes.
I don't remember having 5 drinks.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't remember this.
Felicia's repeated use of the selective memory statement, "I don't remember," are attempts to decrease the anxiety around trying to dismiss the facts that are right in front of her.
And then they give me your receipt as well, and it shows all the drinks as well. You had 3 home runs, that pink.
No, I didn't even order food. Other people had this. I didn't drink that.
Felicia sticks to her guns, insisting she only had the 2 drinks, prompting the investigator to ask his most pointed question thus far.
But if I said question, do you have any blood work drawn?
They didn't draw blood parts or whatever.
So that you had no test to see if any
blood work.
Okay.
Felicia claiming that they didn't draw any blood work doesn't seem to convince the officer this is the case, despite her repeatedly stating it. But the existence of a toxicology report from the hospital reveals that Felicia either doesn't remember the testing or that she isn't telling the full truth. Multiple news outlets have claimed the toxicology report found that Felicia had consumed several alcoholic drinks. Felicia was removed from her post as vice chairperson and has had her authority as a county commissioner curtailed. She can no longer issue appointments or make zoning recommendations. Some of her colleagues are lobbying the governor to remove her from the commission entirely. Only time will tell if there are more consequences in store for Felicia. Though it may come as a surprise, Felicia hasn't faced any charges associated with the unfortunate incident.
Well, sounds like she kind of got what she deserved. It sounds like the right things happened. But y'all know that Will Smith's best friend's interview is supposed to come out tonight. And I might have to go ahead and charge that computer up again, man. We might have to go in on that tonight, man. That might be the next best thing. Will Smith's supposed best friend is doing a little tell-all book, and I guess he did a little interview with what's the name, with Tasha K. And now it's it's time to go and check that guy out. Yeah, right. Win, lose, or rut, city girl politics. That's exactly what that is. That's exactly what that is. And he said, yeah, that's how being drunk gets you. I had 5. Right. Yeah, they said they observed otherwise with her. She talking about she only had 1 drink and a half or something like that. Hey, Hurricane, hey, it's getting crazy out here, man. You got Jada trying to do a tell-all. You got the other dude trying to do a tell-all. And my question is, what if, all this time we thought Will Smith was just this good guy, but he's really just a trash person? We just used to seeing him on our, we're used to the Fresh Prince Will and, the guy that we see on like the talk shows and everything where things are kind of scripted a little bit. What's good, Lord Scott? Now he said he heard about that. Yeah, man, we're gonna have to check that guy out, man, either tonight or tomorrow. That's gonna be the deal, man. So yeah, this was just a little simple stream to just get through, man. I had something else in mind, but I don't really got no time, to be honest. I was gonna do some other stuff that was a little more funny. But yeah, we just went ahead and talked about the migrants again because they they're just constantly having some crazy updates and whatnot. But yeah, man, if that Will Smith thing does come out, man, I'm gonna go ahead and have to do that as well, man. So yeah, y'all, if I don't see y'all tonight, day, I appreciate y'all jumping in and stopping through and commenting, and I'll see y'all next time.